My friends, I want to welcome you all to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing great, just like I am. Today, for this adventure, we're out for a snow camp. As you all can see, it's nice and snowy. We have 5 inches on the ground with more on the way. This has been a very interesting snowstorm. It started off as freezing rain, so underneath this snow, there's a layer of ice. And I promise you all, this is slick, super slick, very slow going, but I'm making good progress. Here in a minute, I'll be where I want to set up camp at, and we'll talk some more. Folks, let's hike on. I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not, but it's windy today too. I got the tarp set up a few minutes ago. That was nice and easy. And luckily, right up here at the top, it is completely flat. It's really nice, everybody. I'm so unaccustomed to flat. As you all can see, hopefully, it is extremely windy. Today, the winds are ranging between 20 to 35 miles per hour. Later on tonight, up to 55. The wind chill, it's low. Luckily, underneath this tarp, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I'll tell you what, folks, why don't we go ahead, let's make some coffee and also some lunch. stove is on, everybody. We'll have coffee in no time. As far as lunch goes, I am actually having breakfast. This is jalapeno cheddar biscuits and herb sausage gravy. Oh yeah. This is going to be incredible. This, everybody, is the perfect snowstorm. It's not terribly cold. The temperatures are dropping, but it could definitely be worse. It's windy, but yet this snow, I mean, it's just perfect. And it's piling up too. I'd say right now we have about 7 inches of snow on the ground. It's unfortunate that I cannot stay out for an overnight trip. It's simply impossible. I have something that I have to do tomorrow morning that cannot be rescheduled. It is something for the channel, something coming up. So I have to go and address it tomorrow. I have been busy, my friends. Cheers. Anyways, lunch is almost ready. Breakfast lunch, that's the best type of lunch. Dinner too. Breakfast for lunch, dinner, awesome. Breakfast for breakfast, not so great. As for the coffee, a viewer sent this in. This is a pumpkin coffee. It is incredible. Unfortunately, I do not know who sent this. There was no name attached to it. It was just coffee. So whoever sent this in, thank you so much. It is amazing. It's like pumpkin vanilla. It is without a doubt some of the best coffee I've ever had. This biscuits and gravy meal is amazing. This is from Pinnacle Foods. It's expensive. It's about $15 a pop, but it is awesome. The best biscuits and gravy that I've ever had. It is a snowy, cold mess today. It's perfect. It's interesting, everybody. For the last couple of snowstorms, the National Weather Service has dropped the ball every single time. We had a winter storm warning last week for a snowstorm that it didn't really snow. All it did was just rain. Nothing got covered, just a little bit on the ground, that's it. And then for this storm, there's no warning, and we have like 7-8 inches of snow on the ground. It just makes no sense what they're doing. Yes, I like to complain about the weatherman. That's because they influence what I do here on the channel so much. The weather for me is very important. I'm filming reviews, I'm testing products, I'm filming adventures. So, to me, the forecast matters. And unfortunately, they just get it wrong so much of the time. It's pretty funny. Sometime back, I was contacted by a weatherman. I can't mention from what station that he's actually broadcasting out of. Anyways, he was saying to me that he finds it really funny when I complain about all this stuff because I'm right. I love that brutal honesty. It's so great. Yeah, their track record is pretty piss poor. And that goes for just about every forecaster. Most forecasters use NOAA or the National Weather Service as a base for their forecasts. And with the National Weather Service, all of the forecasts are based on like algorithms and so on. That's why they're so inaccurate. That coffee is so good. And so is this meal. This is really good. I could tell that the temperature's dropping. Just about everything here is freezing. The high today was actually this morning, and the temperature's been dropping all day long. Right now it's about 14 degrees. Later on tonight it'll be 4. By tomorrow morning, -1. I personally don't like to camp when the temperatures are below 0. I find at that point that your gear becomes fragile, equipment breaks. You tend to have a lot of issues at that point. A lot of gear is not designed for temperatures that low. Most of the time when it hits 0, I stay home. It's a personal preference thing for sure. You may be thinking to yourself, well, 0 is not that cold. I live out west and it's -20 and I handle it no big deal. The one thing that most people do not think about is humidity. I'm in the southeast and we have extremely high levels of humidity. So like 20 degrees here with high humidity can feel colder than like -10 out west. I made this point to a friend of mine who was in from Wyoming last week. He came into town to visit some family. I got to see him. We had a great time. But the thing is, he said that he had forgotten just how cold it is here. That was back when we were having the snowstorm, so I was able to see him after the storm was over and my trip was over. Anyway, we met up, we went out for a hike, and he was complaining about how freaking cold it was, and it was only around 20 degrees Fahrenheit. The thing is, again, the humidity. You have to think about it. Humidity is the moisture in the air. Right now, it's floating around, it's going underneath your clothing, like it's affecting your hat, your face, your hands, your gloves. Like I said, it's going underneath your jacket, your pants, and basically it's pulling heat away from your body. So 20 degrees with high humidity can feel just as cold, if not colder, than like -10, -20, and so on. That's one of the reasons why in this area we have so many rescues. A lot of people come in from out of town, they're hiking trails, they're doing the mountaintops, and they're not prepared. So they come in, they do these trips, and the next thing you know, they're having to be carried out, or helicopters have to come in. It happens all the time. At the same time, humidity and that moisture in the air, it's making your insulation layers less effective. All of this goes back to the basic laws of thermodynamics. Damp air transfers heat more quickly than dry air, which results in more heat escaping the body, and thus you feel colder. If I didn't have to have a clear head tomorrow, I would stay and camp, but unfortunately, I better be clear-headed for what I have to do tomorrow. That reminds me of back in high school. The day before I had to take the SAT, I went camping with my friends. So we went out, we went camping. We ended up having a massive fire. We stayed up all night long. So the next morning, got in my car, went to school, didn't have time to change clothes, nothing like that. I took the test, stinking to high heaven like a campfire. The entire classroom absolutely stunk. It smelled like smoke. It was really funny. That does go to show just how little I cared about that test, which is pretty funny. I ended up doing really well on it though. So, yay for me, I guess. I can't say that that has helped me in my life at all, but I'm talking about taking the SAT, that is. I have to say just how impressed I am with this snow. We're talking about multiple inches of snowfall per hour. I mean, since we got here, about 3 inches has fallen. I'm impressed. This is the best snowfall that we've had this year so far. I was sitting inside of the house, just couldn't take it anymore. I had to get out. So I begun hiking over the mountains to this spot. This is roughly 2 miles away from my home. This is on family land. Ever so often I come out here, I'll do a quick camp, or maybe film a video, something like that. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time here, roaming these mountains, having a good time. I learned a lot about the outdoors right here in this forest. I remember the first time I ever saw a black racer snake. It was out here. There's a big rock over this hill towards the creek over here. And so a friend of mine, we were hiking through the woods, we came to that rock and we were climbing up on it, right? That's when we saw it. Basically, we had a hand up. Oh, trust me, a 6-foot long black snake will startle you. I remember that moment to this day. Yeah. Beautiful. All right, let's go inside, let's finish up lunch. The sun will be going down soon. Take a look at this here. This is an alcohol fuel bottle from Trangia. This is pretty slick. I've been testing this out for the last couple months and I really like this. When it comes to alcohol fuel bottles, there's really not much out there. There's a Vargo product and it sucks. I've used it, tested it, don't like it, don't buy it. And there are some fuel bottles from MSR, but they're really not made for like alcohol. It's really for a different type of stove system, but you can use it for this purpose. But when it comes to alcohol fuel, this is without a doubt the way to go. The top here screws down and it locks this into place so you cannot get any fuel out of it. Then when you need some, you open it up, push down and pour. It's pretty slick. Because it's been so cold lately, I've been using a lot of alcohol fuel. It works well in cold conditions. There's a number of problems in regards to alcohol. I have a video that I've done, The Truth About Alcohol Stoves. You should watch that episode if you don't know anything about alcohol stoves, because it does teach you a lot. This fuel performs well in the cold, but it does not release much heat, so it takes quite a bit of fuel. It takes a lot of time. In other words, there's pros and cons to it. Oh yeah, those winds are picking up. Getting strong. I need to do some quick shout outs. Arlene, thank you so much for the book. I cannot wait to read it. Christopher, thank you so much for the coffee. Greg, thank you so much for all that you do, all of the meals. I really do appreciate it, buddy. Brett, thank you so much for watching the channel, and thank you so much for being the best man at Facette's wedding. You are awesome. All right, everybody, I'm going to pack up. It's time for me to head out of here before the sun goes down. I simply could not stay inside of the house any longer seeing this snow. It was just too beautiful. So I packed my gear up. I figured that we would go out, have a quick lunch, do some talking, enjoy the snow together, and we've done that. So I'm going to pack up. It's time to break down this tarp. It's time to go. My friends, I want to thank you all very much for joining me for this trip. I really do appreciate it. And when I say that, I really do mean it. I know there's a lot of videos, a lot of content out there to watch, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in for my videos. With this trip today, it was nothing special, but it did me a lot of good. My philosophy in life is to move unless you absolutely can't. For me, it's all about living. And we'll spend every single minute exploring, every single second enjoying the outdoors. For me, that's what makes a good life. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this quick little lunch trip in the snow, hit the thumbs up. It helps a lot. Make sure to check out my second YouTube channel, A Quiet Place Adventures. Everybody, take care, be well. I will see you next week with the next reviews and also with the next adventure. Bye, folks. See ya.